King James Virgin, where each week my friends Alan and Adam recount stories from the Bible from their childhoods to me. I've never heard them before, and my name is Nick.
My name is Alan.
My name is Adam.
That's how we do it now.
Yep. New policy.
Man, the headphones of shame really sound terrible. I forgot my headphones this week, and there's extra pair in the studio.
Like from the 70s?
There's a junker pair, which we call the headphones of shame, and they are bestowed upon.
I feel like I have two tin cans with string.
You look like an extra in
head.
Good Morning Vietnam. Like
sure.
You look like you're on the chopper when Robin Williams is being dropped off.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I'm fine.
Yeah,
with
things
that.
are meant to sound like this to them.
They do. They do.
That didn't actually register with him. Just Nick changed his voice for that.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of ears, I've got Bible facts oozing out of my ears. I overread.
That's an image.
This is a short story, and I decided to read like the millennia before and after it, and it was too much.
Okay, how are you doing?
It was too much. I'm going to confuse things.
Absorbing millennia.
Have you been converted?
Millennia is 100?
1,000.
Oh, no. Okay. 100. Century. See? It started.
It broke more than just Bible. It just broke your brain.
Just numbers.
All right. Cool.
Because, this is a bit of a short story. And
should we find out what Nick knows?
Yes, but I will preface by saying on my way down today, I was listening to our episode on Jericho, and Nick asked at the beginning of that, for a reference point.
Yeah.
Because we'd skipped over a lot of important, early Bible stuff. And our only reference point was Jacob and Esau.
Yep.
So,
okay. This is
just
directly after.
When we stopped at the end of the Jacob, he had 12 kids.
Right.
This
the 11th.
Is now we're going to talk about the 11th child. Nick, what do you know about Joseph?
And specifically any clothing he might.
Well, it might either surprise or disappoint you to know that
I kind of know where this is going.
I am a biblical virgin, but I am not, in fact, a musical theater virgin.
I was wondering if this is where this is going.
So I do know that he has a coat of many colors, a shit ton of brothers.
Yep.
Visits a pharaoh who is an Elvis type, and there's some dancing corn.
Big Donny Osmond fan?
I saw the Donny Osmond version
really?
in Chicago. Yeah.
Dang.
Were you in this?
No. Yeah, with Donny Osmond.
Yes. No, I mean, but
it would not be surprising.
I am Donny Osmond, actually.
Oh, shit.
It would not be surprising me if you were in a high school production of this.
Aren't they intense Mormons? So isn't this a weird kind of thing for him to do?
Wait,
the Osmonds?
No.
The Osmonds.
The Osmonds.
Oh. No, it's still the Bible.
Okay.
The Mormons believe in the Bible. They just added their own.
They tack on a whole second volume. Okay. Bible 2.
Yeah, Jesus dies, and then there's Bible 2.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
My mom was a huge fan of, maybe still is a huge fan of Donny Osmond. So I got to see Donny Osmond do his thing.
I saw Kathy Rigby as Peter Pan 2 days before there was an accident. She shattered her leg.
I don't get that through line between those two stories.
Just famous people doing theater.
Oh, okay. I saw Anna Gasteyer in Wicked.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so I won too, guys. Yeah.
So that's better than mine. Mine's not musical.
So does the Lord Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber version accurately reflect the tale?
Chunks of it. Elvis doesn't show.
100% dancing corn in the Bible.
There
sort of is.
So.
There's it doesn't dance, but it does feature prominently.
There is hip movement in the bushels.
Yeah. It's good. Although we're not going to get to that today.
True.
In general, you've got most of it. Should I just jump in or?
Let's jump in.
All right. So this is directly after. So Jacob and Esau have patched things up, and Jacob's been pumping out kids high as fuck on Mandrake, and I don't remember. Rachel was barren, the wife that he wanted to have.
So he did marry both of them, even though that wasn't.
He married both sisters.
Yes, not the servants.
Well, of course not.
Yeah, no. And there are 10 older brothers one younger brother of Joseph. Joseph is the eldest of Rachel's kids.
Okay.
And he was the first born. Benjamin was the firstborn in Canaan. Joseph was born while he was still with Uncle.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Benjamin's actually born
in Canaan.
So Joseph was born before they got there, but not.
Correct.
Interesting.
So yeah, Benjamin was born post Jacob Esau making up.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
And by making up, I mean they like had
are okay with
uneasy
each other.
Truce and intentionally lived 100 miles apart.
When they became Esau became the Edomites.
Correct.
Okay. Everybody, by the way, everybody who doesn't like directly become the Israelites becomes the father of some nation around them.
This early in the Bible,
they get their own ites.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This early in the Bible, everyone is an
ite.
eponym.
It'd be really interesting if like from their culture's perspective, if they're like, no, that person just moved into our area. We already existed.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the Moabites were like, no,
I do call my cat a Renaissite.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. You should.
So Joseph is kind of a little shit. I mean, this is how I see him.
That checks out in the Bible.
Like his brothers despise him initially just because his mom is the favored. Their mom isn't the liked mom. Like Joseph and Benjamin's mom is the one that Jacob made it very clear that like that's the one I like.
Yeah,
I didn't want to marry your mother, and the handmaidens are just servants, so we don't care.
Yeah,
and so like they don't like the two sons, and Benjamin just doesn't really he's pretty young.
Benjamin's just there.
Yeah, he just doesn't really feature. I mean, Tribe of Benjamin becomes the priests.
No, that's Levi.
Anyway,
that's a lot of dudes to remember.
Yeah, there's 12 of them.
Yeah.
It's all swimming around my noggin.
Anyway.
I think there's actually 11 dudes.
Oh, right, because Dinah,
the only girl, but then
Joseph gets
I think there's 11, but I'm not going to count.
It doesn't, yeah. It really
hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah, and also it doesn't really affect the story at all because there are these, I thought it was 10 brothers though.
Yeah, whatever. Keep going.
Anyway, there's the brothers and they are mostly out tending sheep. Like that's kind of what everybody seems to be doing. Right. And Joseph, being a little shit that he is sent out to basically like bring them food and stuff.
Okay, fine. There were 12 brothers.
Okay. So did they just not split Joseph up or did we just make that up?
No, they split Joseph up later, but Levi is not considered one of the tribes. They're more because of the priesthood.
They're the priests.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There are 12. I was wrong.
Oh, I didn't realize that though. So there's 13 groups and one of them is the priests.
12 tribes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply to this story at all, but it's
too many numbers already.
I tuned it out.
Cool.
So I'm ready to continue.
Great.
So like Joseph basically, whenever he'll go out, hang with the brothers are presumably in their 20s and just like kind of fucking around out in the wild. And so Joseph will go back.
Well, they're herding sheep.
They're herding sheep, but they're like, they're 20-year-old boys. So like doing stupid shit. So like Joseph will come back to Jacob and like report on the bad stuff that they're doing. And they get in trouble because it basically it's a little tattletale.
He's an arc.
Mm-hmm. And one of these times, I think he's in his teens by this point.
17.
Okay. He's 17. He goes out and he is been given this incredibly fancy robe of many colors. Mm-hmm. And he's basically just
some translations posit that it might have just been a robe with sleeves.
No.
I know, right?
Man, that would have made the musical far less interesting.
Also, like, how shitty is it to be the rest of the people like who have had just sleeveless, they've just had sleeveless shirts for this entire time?
Yeah, it could have been a multicolored tunic. It could be an ornamented tunic. Or it could be a tunic with sleeves. We don't totally know.
Do we know where he got this?
Yeah. So Jacob, his father, gave it to him. And like he basically came and like showed off his brand new leather jacket. It's like, look what dad brought me and did not buy you. He then proceeds to tell them that he's had this dream where basically all of the other brothers are bowing down to him as the leader of something.
So they're all sheaves.
Oh, right. It's the grain.
Of grain.
Yeah.
And there's 12 sheaves bow down to the one sheave.
Wow.
And he goes, I think it means that the rest of you are all going to bow down to me.
Yeah.
This is apparently the last fucking straw for the brothers.
And then the next night he has another dream.
Oh, really?
And this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to me. He told it to his father and brother. And even his father said, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you?
Jacob's even get a little...
He's like pissing everyone off.
Uh-huh.
But this is the last straw. And he goes out to visit the brothers again. And they, as a group, kind of decide, except for the eldest. Well, no. They all as a group basically decide they're going to kill him. But then Reuben, the eldest.
Correct.
Okay. Basically was like, okay, maybe we shouldn't kill our brother. Let's just shove him in down this well.
Right.
And like,
I remember the well.
Yeah.
Pit.
Oh, okay.
There's specifically no water in it.
Oh, so is it like a dry cistern or something?
It's a pit.
Okay. So yeah, they put him down in this pit.
Uh-huh.
And then when Reuben's away, a traveling group of merchants,
Midianite traders.
Okay. Midianite traders come by and they basically sell him as a slave. And they're heading, I think the Midianites are headed to, well, they have to be headed to Egypt.
Correct. They're coming down from the north with like spices and stuff headed down to Egypt.
Okay. And so Reuben comes back and he's like, we sold him. And then they're like, oh shit, we've got to go back and tell our parents.
Well, just Reuben is
he's oh shit.
He's like, he tore his clothes. He said,
oh no, he's pissed.
What am I going to do? What am I going to tell our dad?
So, but they kept his coat because this was the object of their anger, and they killed something. Sheep?
Baby sheep.
Okay. They killed a baby sheep.
Well, a goat.
Okay. And then used its blood, covered the thing in blood and said a bear killed him.
Wolves? They just said, we have found this. And his father posits that he was killed by a wild animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let the dad do the legwork on the lie.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We found it.
What do you think?
They actually ask him, he says, we have found this. Do you know whether it is your son's tunic or not?
Oh, right. Because they shouldn't have necessarily known about that.
And he recognized it and said, it is my son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him.
Oh, wow.
Without
Jump
doubt,
to it.
Joseph is torn to pieces.
Without doubt. So Jacob, basically, for some reason in my brain, I'm having a hard time remembering the difference between Joseph and Jacob. I mean, I know they're J names, but in my brain, I keep switching them.
I mean, despite it, being his favorite son, it is one less mouth to feed. So, devoured. Just 11 of you now.
And if he's as big of a shit as he seems.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's the story of Joseph and his.
So Joseph is headed to Egypt.
Yes.
Which sets off the events that eventually lead to the Israelites leaving and then entering Jericho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or destroying Jericho with trumpets.
And if you go to Bible classes, you're taught that that's when they build the pyramids, which does not line up historically.
No. Yeah. The Great Pyramid was built about the same time as the flood.
Or about 2,000 years before this story happened, or earlier in human history.
Sure, yeah.
It's like the shit that they taught us.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff where we were taught that Joseph was with Pharaoh, so that was Alexandria. When in reality, it was probably this tiny town way up in the northeast.
Oh, really?
Close to Goshen. Yeah. So it wasn't really this epic. It was because we were taught that Joseph eventually becomes this. I just think it's funny that he's not in Washington, D.C. He's more in Little Rock.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
That is interesting.
So
we're kicking off a chain of events.
Is this going to be, so are we doing a multi-part thing, or are we just eventually we'll come back to Joseph?
Let's multi-part a little bit.
Yeah, we could do, because there's really only one more chunk of Joseph.
There is one more chunk of Joseph.
It's 1.5.
We're selling this well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say the next half is better than the colorful coat half. Where does the Donny Osmond thing?
Well, I was going to say, I feel like we haven't even gotten to the intermission of the musical.
By the way, Nick, I should clarify. We talk about the Israelites a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but the start of this whole podcast, when Jacob was wrestling the angel.
Yes.
The God named it at that point Israel.
Oh, that's right. He changed his name.
Right.
Oh, we forgot that.
So since he is the father of the 12,
that makes a lot of sense.
They're basically the Jacobites. It's the Israelites.
Okay.
I totally forgotten that.
Yeah. I just feel like I should, clarify that.
That's right.
That's helpful.
Wow. I totally forgot that was a thing.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
Yep.
What's also confusing as I'm reading the story, it just goes back and forth. It'll call him Jacob and it'll call him, and Israel says this. And I'm like, oh, right, Jacob.
That's just poor writing.
I hate when they do that in a movie.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like my friend PJ, but his wife calls him Paul.
Because it was PJ's is his initials, not his it's his first and last initial. Not
it's just confusing. Every once in a while, you're like, wait, oh right,
yeah, she shouldn't do that.
Well, it's because they were doing a play when they met, and she read his name before she heard it. It's actually a very sweet story. Shout out to PJ, loyal listener.
Adorable. We'll be right back here on the King James Virgin. And we're back here on the King James Virgin.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. You can follow us at KJVPod on both Twitter and Instagram. We'd love seeing your guys' awesome reviews on iTunes. If you have a friend who you think would love the podcast, pass it on to them. That would be awesome. Thanks to Mascaras and Resurrection Records for the use of our theme song, Kexadi, off the album El Moren. This week's Resurrection Record artist is Drekig. You can find these songs, stickers we have for sale, and the show notes on our website, kingjamesvirgin.com.
That does it for us here on the King James Virgin. Until next week, dig a pit.
Sonic Bazaar.